Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest, most frustrating parts of the IELTS reading test. You know what I'm talking about. Those super long, complex sentences that just seem designed to trip you up. But don't worry, we're going to break down a really powerful technique that will help you master any sentence, and you guessed it, boost your score. All right, let's get right into it. So does this sound familiar? You're reading along, you know most of the words, but then bam, you hit this monster of a sentence and suddenly the meaning is just gone. It is so frustrating, and honestly, it's the one thing that keeps so many people stuck at a band 5 or 5.5, just out of reach of their goal. I mean, just look at this sentence on the screen. It's a perfect example, right? It feels like a wall of text. You've got lists, multiple ideas, different clauses, all tangled up. And when you're under pressure in an exam, a sentence like this can feel absolutely impossible to figure out. But what if I told you there's a system to make it simple? So listen, this is the most important thing I'm going to say today. Your problem probably isn't your vocabulary. You don't need to go memorize another 1,000 words. What you need is a smarter strategy, a totally different way of looking at these sentences. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. And that smarter way, well, that's where this method comes in. We call it the chunking method. I want you to think of it like your secret ninja technique, okay? It's how you're going to slice through that complexity and turn that scary wall of text into small, manageable pieces that you can actually understand. So what exactly is chunking? It's actually really simple. It's just the process of breaking a huge sentence down into smaller, meaningful units, or chunks. So instead of trying to swallow the whole thing at once, you take it one bite-sized piece at a time. And trust me, this makes figuring out the overall meaning incredibly easy. Now, to do this like a pro, you're going to need a toolkit. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to equip you with 7 specific strategies for chunking any sentence that comes your way. Once you get these down, you'll be able to systematically break down even the nastiest sentences in the IELTS exam. So here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through these 7 strategies one by one. We'll start with some basic grammar rules and then move on to some more intuitive tricks. So pay close attention, because these really are the keys that are going to unlock sentence meaning for you. Okay, let's kick things off with strategy number 1, dividing the sentence by its core grammar. You know, every sentence is basically built around a subject, a verb, and an object. It's the simple who did what. In those really long sentences, you'll often find a few of these mini sentences all joined together. So your first job is to just find these core structures and pull them apart into their own chunks. Next up, linking words. Think of these words as little signposts in the sentence. Words like and, but, because, while, they're all there to connect different ideas. And the rule here is super simple. Whenever you see one of these connector words, that's your signal to start a new chunk. The sentence is literally telling you where to make the cut. Strategy 3 is all about spotting the modifiers. These are just words or phrases that add extra description. So for example, a simple building might be described as a very tall building. That whole descriptive bit can be its own chunk. By isolating these extra details, you can see the main skeleton of the sentence way more easily. All right, strategy number 4 is a real game changer, because these prepositional phrases are everywhere in academic writing. Anytime you see a phrase that starts with words like on, in, with, or of, you've found a chunk. Pulling these out helps clear away all the clutter so you can focus on the main message. You know, complex sentences are built with things called clauses. There's always one main idea, the main clause, and then a bunch of extra info that gets added in, what we call subordinate clauses. I want you to be a detective here. Find the main point and separate it from all the supporting details. Each of those clauses can be its very own chunk. Okay, strategy number 6 is the most natural one of all. We call it the breathing rule. Honestly, just trust your instincts. Like the quote says, you should break up the sentence wherever you would naturally pause if you were reading it out loud. Those pauses are basically your brain telling you, hey, one idea just ended and a new one is starting. It's common sense, pure and simple. And finally, our last strategy, number 7, uses the bricks and glue idea. Think of a sentence like a brick wall. The content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, those are the bricks. They carry all the meaning. The function words like the or in, that's just the glue holding the bricks together. A chunk should always be built around the bricks, not the glue. All right. We've learned the theory and we have our 7 tools in our toolkit. Now for the really fun part. Let's put them into practice. We are going back to that big, scary sentence from the beginning, and we're going to see how we can take it apart piece by piece using our new chunking strategies. Remember this guy? Well, it's back. But look, this time, it's not a wall of text, it's a puzzle, and we have everything we need to solve it. It might look complex, but with our toolkit, we can break it down into simple, understandable parts. Let's see how it's done. And there you have it. This table shows the whole process perfectly. We've used our strategies to create 8 simple chunks. See chunk 1? That's strategy number 1, our simple subject plus verb. Then look at chunk 5. It starts with the linking word and. That's strategy number 2 in action. And chunk 6 is a classic prepositional phrase, using strategy number 4. By applying our toolkit, that huge sentence just becomes a series of simple ideas. See, it's not so scary anymore, is it? Now hold on, because this is probably the most important part of the entire process, especially for my Bengali speakers out there. Just understanding the chunks isn't quite enough. You see, English sentence structure is subject, verb, object, but Bengali structure is subject, object, verb. You can't just translate directly, you have to rearrange the pieces to make sense in your own language. So, here is the golden rule, the absolute key. After you've broken the sentence into chunks, your next job is to find the action word, the verb. When you go to reassemble the meaning in Bengali, that verb has to move to the end of the phrase. This one little shift is the key to making the final meaning totally clear and natural. Okay, you now have the knowledge. You have the technique. But, knowledge is only powerful when you actually use it. So, let's talk about how you can turn this theory into a real skill. It's time for your 7-day challenge, something I designed to lock this method in and help you get that higher IELTS school you've been working for. So I'm officially giving you a 7-day challenge. That is it. Just 1 week of focused practice to make this chunking method feel like second nature. I promise you this short-term work can lead to a long-term breakthrough in your reading. And here is your daily plan for the next 7 days. It's simple, it's actionable. First, pick a passage. Second, apply our 7 chunking strategies to every long sentence you find. Third, write down the chunks and what they mean. And fourth, the most important step, reassemble the full meaning in Bengali, always moving that verb to the end. If you do this every day, you will see a huge improvement. So the only question left is, are you ready? Are you ready to stop letting long sentences intimidate you and finally unlock the score you are truly capable of? The technique is right here. The plan is clear. Now it's your turn to take the challenge.